beautiful people of the internet. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully great. Welcome to Budget Builds, where we use zero Forma and achieve maximum efficiency. In today's video, we're taking a closer look at Octavia, aka the DJ of Warframe. Now, Octavia is a strong but unique frame, and here's why I say that. Firstly, you can perform custom songs, and she's probably the only Warframe in the entire game that has scaling damage. Anyways, before I continue with the video, please spot and click the subscribe button for more Warframe videos, and let's do this. You know the rules. Before I can give you guys Octavia's build, it is important that we know exactly how she works. With that being said, let's start off with her passive. Replenish 30 energy over 30 seconds for Octavia and allies within 15 meters when abilities are activated. So in other words, when you guys are playing as Octavia, what happens is you have this built-in energy siphon. Now, this built-in energy siphon can only be triggered if Octavia's abilities are activated. Also, if you guys have some allies in the mission, they will also receive this benefit. They just have to be close, particularly 15 meters of range. Now, if you guys ask me, this is probably easily one of the best passives in the entire game, especially for Octavia, because this build I'm about to show you guys is very energy hungry. Next, we have her first ability called Mallet. Rhythmically, damn, that's one hell of a word. Rhythmically beats damage into nearby enemies and draws their fire. Damage inflicted on the mallet increases its lethality. So, in other words, this is your number one ability. So what's going to happen is you throw your mallet, it'll start affecting a certain area. Of course, this does scale based off of the range mods you guys have. Now, what's going to happen is enemies will then be drawn to that particular area. After that, what's going to happen is it'll force them to start damaging that area, and all the damage that the mallet absorbs will be inflicted onto those enemies. In other words, yes, ladies and gentlemen, mallet does scale. So keep that in mind. Next, we have ourselves Resignator. Launches a roll ball that charms foes to follow it. It combines the mallet to create a rolling ball of sonic destruction. So in other words, with Resignator, you have this ball, right? And what happens is this ball can be both crowd control and can damage all the enemies that follow it. So keep that in mind. Next, we have ourselves Metrodrome. Grants buffs to those who are continuously performing actions in time to Octavia's music. Timed jumps offer the Vivis speed buff. Crouching on the beat grants cloaking with the Nocturne buff. Excuse me for my pronunciation. Firmly, rhythmically bestows Opera multi-shot buff. Timed melee swings gives you the Fonty damage buff. So in other words, Metrodrome is a very complicated ability, as you guys can see from the description, but here's how it works. So when you guys activate your number 3, you'll see like these little circular wolves, kind of looks like a disco club from like a John Wick movie or something. So now, if you guys perform either a melee attack, a crouching attack, a jumping attack, or anything in order with the beats, what's going to happen is you'll receive different types of buffs. So for instance, if you guys do start crouching or start teabagging in the same rhythmical buff as Metrodrome, you'll go invisible. If you do the same with shooting, you'll get more multi-shot. If you do the same with melee, you'll then get another form of buff. Feel free to pause the video and read on the description. It's a pretty simple ability, but the one that you'll be mainly using is the one for invisibility, because Octavia is a very, very squishy Warframe. Next, we have Amp. Draws power from the decibel level of the sound in the area and uses it to amplify a damage buff for Octavia and her allies. It also doubles the damage and range of nearby mallets. So in other words, this is another form of buff. What happens is it buffs other nearby mallets, and it can also buff your range of other mallets along with your teammates. Once again, feel free to pause the video and read up on this ability. Now, let's move on to the main introduction or the juice of this video, that being the budget build. So here's the build for Octavia. As you guys can see, there is zero Forma invested onto this build. With that being said, let's start off with our first mod, that being our aura. We have Energy Siphon. Warframe energy regenerates 0.6% energy rate. So in other words, with this mod, what happens is you'll passively be gaining energy. Now, this mod I feel like is important because Octavia is an extremely energy hungry Warframe, especially with the amount of efficiency we have. So having this aura is probably your best bet. If you guys want to go end game, you can swap this out for corrosive projection, which gives your enemies less armor, making them easier to kill. So keep that in mind. Next, we have ourselves narrow-minded and primed continuity for more duration. The more duration we have, the longer Octavia's mana and all the other abilities can stay active, and we can stay invisible for as long as possible. Next, we have ourselves August Secrets, Intensify, and Blind Rage. Now, these mods give us more power strength. The more power strength we have, the more damage Octavia's mallet will deal. Now, Octavia's mallet already deals damage, but more power strength just means that the multiplier for mallet will be a lot higher the more power strength you guys put on. Next, we have ourselves Augur Reach and Stretch for more range. The more range we have, the bigger the area of effect for Octavia's abilities will be. And finally, we have Primed Flow for a bigger energy pool. Of course, you know, we need to have a bigger energy pool because our efficiency is really, really low. Now for our arcanes, Arcane Energize because once again, Octavia is extremely energy hungry, especially with this build, and Guardian, that way it makes your life a lot more easier, but Guardian is optional. Feel free to put any other arcane that you guys feel suits your guys playstyle. But you guys can put on an Arcane Energize. I feel like that is a must. Now, do not butcher me down in the comment section. I understand that everybody does not have Arcane Energize, but hear me out on this. DE has given away these arcanes for practically free for twice now. There was a Scarlet Spear event, and then there was the Orphix Venom that happened not too long ago. Now, I'm not butchering you guys. You guys do not need Arcane Energize, but let me tell you, Arcane Energize will heavily benefit this build. Make sure when you guys are using this build to have Generic, aka the Energizing Dash node equipped. With that, make sure to have Energy Siphon because, you know, negative efficiency does take up a lot of your energy, so keep that in mind. So before we go into battle, we need to make sure that we go and set up Octavia's Mandala Chord. Now, the reason behind this is so that we can easily take advantage of Octavia's buffs. Now, in order to do this, click on Appearance. And then click at the bottom right, you should see a button called Mandala Chord. Click on that. And as you guys can see, we are taking a look at Octavia's Mandala Chord. Now, the patterns that you see on your Mandala Chord are completely different from my Mandala Chord. So here's what you guys should do. Over here, you should see a button called Clear Notes. Click on that, and then you guys need to click on OK. But me, I'm going to click on Cancel because I do not want my notes to be cleared at all. So once you guys have cleared your Mandala Chord entirely, what you guys can do is start copying the exact pattern I have. Now, I'm going to start showing you guys exactly what are the patterns I have. I'm going to keep quiet. Feel free to pause the video while I do this. So once you guys have set up your Mandala Chord exactly to mine, here is what you guys should expect. As you guys can see, there is a lot more beats. Now, as Octavia's number 3 works, if you guys match your movements such as firing your weapon, meleeing, or crouching in the exact same rhythm of Octavia's beats, you'll then be able to get one of her buffs activated. So the most popular one is going invisible. Now, in order to go invisible, we simply have to spam crouch. In other words, teabag. So you guys have to teabag according to the rhythm. So in my case, I have to start spamming left control. So let me show you. As you guys can see, I have gone invisible really easy. Now, at the top right, you guys should notice that my invisibility is a lot longer than yours. And the reason behind this is because I've got 2 Octavias. One has 3 Forma, that's my own personal build, and the other one has 0 Forma for this particular episode. That's why the color scheme for both Octavias are different. So now that we know exactly how to keep ourselves safe as Octavia, let me show you how to be aggressive with her or take out heavily armored units. So right here, first thing I'm going to do, oops, wrong button. So first thing I'm going to do is push my number 3 and then go invisible. As you guys can see, while doing this, I have more than 30 seconds of invisibility. Next, I'm going to spawn in my enemies like so. Simulate. They're going to be level 150 heavy gunners. Go up to them like so. Push your number 1 to activate our mallet. And then push out number 3. That way we can have the buff. And then push out number 4. That way we could extend our range. Sit back, relax, and just watch them all die. Because they're going to start shooting themselves. One pro tip is that if you guys play as Octavia, make sure to throw your mallet away from you. Particularly stand in a high ground, like stand over here. Let me just get up there. You know, like stand on high ground and then throw it. Because one problem that you guys will be facing is that if you fight, say, a bombard and they start shooting at the mallet, the damage from the bombard's build will affect you. So keep that in mind. So that is Octavia. As I stated previously, Octavia is a strong yet unique Warframe. In fact, I believe she's the strongest Warframe in the entire game because she does not rely on special synergies to take out heavily armored units. In fact, she only relies on herself. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if this video has helped you or if you've liked it, leave a like. Spot and kick the subscribe button for more Warframe videos. I'ma make like a banana and split.